Hello everybody, my name is Ratnos, and in today's video, we are going to talk about gearing up fast, getting a new alt up to speed in patch 10.1, and some tricks, some little known things that people do not know about that will make this a lot easier. So, let's talk about the biggest thing. I think the single biggest thing that is available that people don't know about is Enchanted Whelpling's Shadowflame Crests. Because these serve a very different purpose than the Enchanted Aspects and Enchanted Worms Crests that you might be familiar with on gearing up main characters getting 447s. Enchanted Whelpling Shadowflame Crests are used to make items up to eye level 408, but crucially, these aren't spark items. These are the blue recipes that you can get. So if we looked at male shoulders, right? You have these spark items that can be created, the Flame Touched and the Ancestors Dew Drippers or whatever, but there's also the Trailblazers Toughened Spikes. And one of the optional reagents here can take Titan Training Matrices, all right, matrices, or it can take an Enchanted Whelpling's Shadowflame Crest, which can take the item again all the way up to eye level 408. And the thing about these Enchanted Whelpling's Crests is that they are actually very cheap to create. They only cost you one Whelpling Shadowflame Crest, and then 30 gold worth of reagents. Actually, let's do a quick check here. It costs 30 chromatic dust, 5 vibrant shards, and 1 resonant crystal. Resonant crystal, so that's 250. Chromatic dust. Okay, so call that 600 gold of chromatic dust. And vibrant shard, 5 of these. So less than 1,000 gold, plus 1 Whelpling Shadowflame Crest, plus an enchanter, and you can create an Enchanted Whelpling Shadowflame Crest, and you can farm up a bunch of these. You can get a bunch of these from world content. The Zeralek Caverns are a good source. Dragonbane Keep, Community Feast, Aiding the Accord, LFR Raid, all of these are great sources of Whelpling's Crests, and you can just turn those things into Enchanted Crests and then use them to create 408s for yourself. In whatever slots. This can be done on a fresh character that's wearing basically nothing, because it just takes outdoor world gear. So this is the most powerful most powerful item in your arsenal when it comes to figuring out where to gear up or what to get. Now, when it comes to other items in your arsenal, today's video sponsor can come in and help things out, and that is u.gg. This is a website that you can go to look if you're on your new character and you're like, okay, do I need an Onyx Annulet? That's something that you may be wondering. So for instance, my character is an Outlaw Rogue, although I'll probably end up playing Subtlety on it, but I leveled as an Outlaw Rogue. And you can take a look here and you can be like, all right, what sort of gear are people using in Raiding and Mythic Plus? And you can see, all right, Onyx Annulet is up there. That's what people are using in Mythic Plus. What about Raiding? Okay, in Heroic Raid, people are using an Onyx Annulet as well. Let's change the difficulty to Mythic, see if people are still using it there. Yeah, 100%, I guess just one parse. But people aren't playing much Outlaw, are they? But we could look at Subtlety as well. Mythic, Kazara, and there we go. We've got 126 parses, of which a full half are still using the Onyx Annulet as well, which means those are people that have access to good rings and stuff, but we can just get the Onyx Annulet as one of our first few items on these alt characters. So check using UGG to see if Onyx Annulet's going to be good for you. You can also use this site to see what other kind of items you might be interested in, what sort of crafts. You can earn your early Shadowflame Sparks and craft 424s without any Enchanted Aspects or Worms Crests, and get yourself your first 2 embellished items at 424 fairly early on as well. Again, just a gold expenditure, not requiring you to do much content. Just earning those Shadowflame Crests. You can get them from all sorts of places while you're catching up. But if you need that Onyx Annulet, there's actually a few valuable things that you will get in the process of hunting down the Onyx Annulet. The Onyx Annulet comes from Forbidden Reach, right? And if you're on a fresh character, you may not have anything there. Remember that the keys are bind on account. And if you have any other alts that you don't care about, but that are level 70, they can go and earn 6 keys for free just by skipping some campaign quests into this area. And you can mail those to the character that you actually want the Onyx Annulet on. And you also may have extra keys on your other characters, or your other characters may have extra elemental overflow. So if you have elemental overflow on other characters, you can spend 2,000 of it in Morcut Village, which is the place up in the Forbidden Reach. You can spend 2,000 of it at one of the like rep vendors to gamble for more keys. So what you can do is you can take all your characters that like they used to be like in 10.0.7 you were doing Forbidden Reach on, and you could just go and gamble all their elemental overflow and get a bunch of keys and mail that to your alt, and that way your alt doesn't have to participate in flying around Forbidden Reach and trying to kill rares, now that very few people are doing that. If you do have to do that, find a group for it. It'll be a lot easier than trying to kill them solo on a shard where nobody's doing it. That is miserable. If you're doing that, you may get elemental overflow onto your alt, though, and the nice thing is you can fill out whatever slots you have really garbage stuff with by buying very cheap. Like this amount of elemental overflow has gotten power crept. You get like 10,000 or 1,000 for killing a rare in the Forbidden Reach, and that'll let you buy a bunch of 359s, which you can then upgrade into 385s, and then again, if you get some bind on pickup stuff that also drops infrequently from the rares on the Forbidden Reach, you can further upgrade that into 411s. Or you can get these Primalist Gear tokens, which you may have these if you did a bunch of Forbidden Reach stuff in 10.0.7, and you can send these over to your alts and give them 385 just off the bat when they hit level 70. And these pieces are also upgradable to 411, but with bind on pickup, not bind on account mats. So that can be a good way to kind of collect some early power level. Of course, if you're capable of getting your friends to carry you through keys or raid or stuff, those are going to be great sources of gear too. That's a lot of my plan is, slowly turn 385s into, 447s and 431s or whatever by ratting my way into 1 key per week. But even if you can only do that for 1 week, another thing to consider is your keystone. If you can get 1 key done 1 week, you might roll an Underrot. And then when you open your vault next week, you also might roll an Underrot. And if you roll an Underrot, consider lowering that thing down to an 11 or a 17, and listing it as something where you're trying to get carried. Because people carry Underrot 11s for Worm Crests all the time. You can be the beneficiary of that if you happen to have that keystone. And you can just put it in the group finder, get a bunch of people to come help you. Invite people of your armor type as well, and they'll probably, if they're doing an Underrot, they might be looking for the Krog Tusks or whatever, but they're probably just looking for crests. And either way, they're probably not looking for some random bracers or whatever, and so you can have a good chance of yoinking those if you invite people of the same armor type as you. Okay, another source of early gear, the auction house itself has reasonably good items that are just bind on equip that you can find from here. So 379 upgradable greens are on the auction house for reasonably cheap. And these are all on the Explorer track, which means they can actually go all the way up to 398 as well if you upgrade them with flight stones and stuff. So if you're not interested in the Primalist Gear side of things, if you're not doing Forbidden Reach, if you don't need an Onyx Annulet on the character that you're on, that can be a good way to collect your items as well. Just go and spend, again, we're talking about spending gold here, but it's not that much gold. You may not be interested in spending any gold, though. Your alt may be designed to make you gold and not cost you gold, in which case this might not apply to you. But that can be very useful. If you're interested in some other sources of higher power gear, the world boss hasn't seemed very good. It does drop, in theory, some like champion gear. There's Akali Elders. Yeah, it drops some champion gear, 421. I think I've killed like 20 or 25 world bosses across my account now, and I think I've seen 2 pieces of loot drop. So it feels like a lower loot chance than other world bosses have had, but, it still can be easy to kill and just worth doing if you're in the area. Kind of an annoying world boss, though, so maybe try and do it during prime time or start of week, because trying to do this in the middle of the week or at the off hours, there just might not be a good group for like 30 minutes to do this. But you can also get some good adventurer and whatever there's adventurer gear, I think. Yeah, veteran and adventurer gear you can also pick up from like Explorers Under Fire, which is an event that fires that you can do once every week, that shows up here and shows up on the half hour. So it'll be right now it's 6:30 server time, you can see, and at 6:23. So in 7 minutes at 6:30, Adventures Under Fire will start, and you could get some good items out of that. There's also the Fyrakk Assaults, which doing that whole thing and like doing the quests aren't really that good. You can look and see if any of them have interesting rewards, but just doing the opening the shipment that's there, getting the like opening the crucible and the mold and the shipment or whatever, you can potentially find your way into, I think, champion, but maybe veteran gear once per week out of that as well. So not bad and cheap compared to the auction house. This is something that's going to cost you time, not money. Okay. The other stuff to talk about is getting some extra Whelplings and Drakes crests. So you get a bunch of Whelplings crests if you actually do a bunch of Zaralek Caverns content, but that may not be something that you're interested in doing. It's worth thinking about doing the entire Embers of Neltharion campaign, especially if you are going to be killing Sarkareth on any difficulty for any reason, which could include LFR Sarkareth, which as of the time of this video isn't out yet, but it'll be out soon. And basically, if you can get the Embers of Neltharion campaign up to 6 of 7, you will get a quest that says, hey, go kill Sarkareth, and we will give you an Enchanted Worms Shadowflame crest, which lets you make a crafted piece all the way up to 437. So on your alt, that could be potentially very valuable. And the process of doing the quests up to that point will give you some Flight Stones, some Whelplings fragments, and I think some Drakes fragments as well, which might be very useful for you if you're upgrading some of that adventure and veteran gear. You can also get Drakes fragments from the new Blue Dragonflight quest line that has just come out as the time of recording this reset, starting with, I believe, Keeper of the Ossuary up at the top of Valdrakken, something which I will confirm for you now and fill time in a way that haters will say the video should be edited around and not include this 10 seconds where I'm flying here, but I'll say it's part of the charm. But yeah, the Keeper of the Ossuary quest line leading to meeting Senegos in the Veiled Ossuary, this actually rewards a bunch of Drake's fragments from completing this entire quest line. There's like an hour or an hour and a half worth of quests that you can do there, but if you need Drake's crests, that can be a really good source of it. I think that's it for my tips and strats for gearing alts. The final note I will say is that carries and stuff are quite a bit cheaper, it seems, this patch than previously, potentially because people are just, the carrying characters are more frequent and more geared, and they also there are people that just want to do the content like 11s or whatever anyways for their own fragments, and so maybe that's lowering the prices. And also the price of getting your character boosted from 60 to 70, it's only like 100k to get a boost where you basically just AFK and you get yourself brought all the way up. You AFK and either knock it on hold or Brackenhide Hollow or whatever, and get boosted from 60 to 70. So if you're ever looking for that, you just /join services if you're not already in the trade services channel, and you'll just see a bunch of people spamming about their power leveling boost. And you can just shop around, whisper a few of them, and see what the best price you can pick up is. Or you can post something like, want to buy this. So that can be also something worth considering. Again, we're talking about some people are going to have gold that they can use to make their character gearing up experience faster. Some people are going to have friends, and some people are going to have neither. My hope is that in this video, whichever type of those players you are, there was something useful for you. But I'm sure there are some blind spots. I'm sure there's some stuff that I missed. I'm sure there's some cool tech that I missed as well. So do let me know down in the comments below what cool tech you've discovered for getting characters nice and geared quickly, getting them jump started from level 70 to actually being eye level 400, eye level 410, so that you can start doing whatever content you want to do on them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.